You're watching BuyPBL's Gab-Fest. Guest opinions do not reflect the opinions of the show sponsors. Video and audio quality is determined by the individual partaking in the program. We apologize in advance for any enlightened views of the industry or hurt feelings.
All right, folks, we're here with episode 2 of Gab-Fest. Today I have Wright with me, and we're going to ask him all about PSP and basically a day in the life of Wright. So, without further ado, Wright.
Hi. Good to be here.
How did you come to run the PSP?
So I came into PSP just as a rep, actually going to battle with them, and from there it evolved into taking over the operational side of everything.
Like you're saying, you were going to battle with the league itself. What was it like going to battle with the leagues while you were a player still?
You know, it was years ago, and everything was growing. Everything was getting bigger. Everyone was excited. Everybody saw the possibilities as being huge. We all were certain at any moment that ESPN or somebody was going to descend on the tournaments, and we were all going to be big stars. And so we kind of had big ideas in our minds as players, and went to the different owners to say some of the things that they were doing we weren't going to take. But as we met with these guys and we presented our side of things, when they came back with the information that they had and what they went through or whatnot, it made me realize we were wrong, honestly. I just had never really stopped and thought about it from their perspective. Absolutely, our hearts were in the right place, and we were going to go tell the man he was either going to get in shape or we were going to kick him out and replace him. And as the man explained to us everything he went through, I thought that they're not nearly as wrong as I thought they were.
All right. Well, I mean, you were saying that there were obviously a lot of things that the players wanted to change, but what were some of the big mistakes that the leagues were making back in the past?
The bigger problems that I saw were the inconsistencies between reffing at each event, the inconsistency between the way the rules were applied at each event. From time to time, the schedule was different at different events just because this guy wanted to do it his way. So that was more of what I saw. And the group that I was with, I think it was a bigger push of they thought that these guys should be doing more to take paintball to some magical place that it was supposed to go. I never was one of the guys that really believed that. So
you left playing for the guy who runs the PSP. How do you explain your job now?
Every day is something different. You know, we've got a warehouse, we've got an office, it's a business. We have to deal with insurance, we have to deal with taxes. It's not just simply setting up poles and finding 10 guys to ref the field and yell and go. I don't think that many people realize it probably costs about $46,000 a month just for the PSP business, between truck leases and insurance and warehouse leases and payroll. Everything that goes into running the business side of things is expensive, and I have to do that every day. It's a challenge, man. It's every place is different. We come to a new venue and things these guys would never think about. The police that are out here doing the parking are, they're crazy, but they start towing cars this morning. The cars are parked exactly where they were yesterday, and all of a sudden we look up and the police are calling records and they're towing people's cars away. And everybody comes running to us. Well, I have absolutely no idea why they're doing it. I didn't know they were doing it. I had nothing to do with it. They just decided those cars were too close to the road, didn't tell us to get them moved, and they start moving them. So through today, I've been on the phone off and on with the captain of the police department, the CDB chief lady that I deal with, the lady from Parks and Recs, trying to make sure they don't keep carrying our people's damn cars away, you know. And nobody out there playing except for the guys whose cars got carried away have any idea any of that's going on. And
it's obviously a lot on your plate. I was actually just going to ask you what was the hardest thing out of your day, let's say, or out of your job at all. What would be the one hardest thing?
I would say the hardest thing about the job for me is when people are let down. You know, when we sit, and every day of my life I try to put effort into running the best tournaments that we can run. You know, I say it to people all the time. There's absolutely no one on earth that wants PSP events to be better than I do, you know, and I put my life into it, and it's how I feed my children, you know, it's important to me, and I want it to be good. And when you bust your ass and you work and you think you're a reasonably smart fella, and I've got a lot of experience doing what I do, and you do something and it seems that everybody is just, you know, hates what you think or hates what you did, that's bothersome to me. That's probably the on a personal level, the hardest thing is when I feel like I've let the people that I'm trying to do good by down. And
yeah, I guess there's no real science to how to deal with that. But talking in percentages, what is the one aspect of an event that has to be 100% perfect for you to breathe easy?
Air. We have to have air. If nets fall, we could play with goggles. You know, if bunkers blow up or blow away, we could maneuver the schedule around. But if the air shuts down, we're screwed. There's no way to overcome that. So if you're asking operationally, we got to have air. And I worry about it a lot because it's machinery, and it's machinery that I have absolutely no understanding of whatsoever, and rely on other people, you know, to do it. And it's been close a few times. Been close a lot more than any of those players out there realize. We've been on the verge of shutting down 24 times in the past 4 or 5 years, and nobody has a clue. And when I walk by and they're saying, "Hey, Lane," and I go flying right by them and act like, you know, I'm just a very mean person. A lot of times, that's what it is. I think we're about to shut down, and nobody knows but me. But air's scary to me. And if air stops, we stop. You know.
What's the best part about running the PSP?
The kids. The other night, we're out here at 10 o'clock at night. There's a 14-year-old boy that his mom drove him over from Houston, and he's walking the fields for his team. And none of their parents would let them come the night before. They were all driving over each day. So his mother drove him over, and he's a 14-year-old boy with pad and pencil out there going bunker to bunker to bunker to bunker, taking notes on everything. And just his eyes are huge, and his mom's standing right there with him doing it. You know, I don't know how to describe how much I like to see the kids really get into it.
Well, with so much going on, like you're saying, the air that you got to worry about, the netting, everything like that, with so much that's happening every day, do you actually even have a chance to, let's say, go out and watch your favorite team play? If so, who is your favorite team?
I would guess that in the past 3 years, if you took every single second of actual playing of paintball that I've watched and put it together, it wouldn't be 2 matches. I never, ever get to sit and watch games, and it's sad, but I don't like to watch the games. We're superstitious, but I just feel like if I'm there, something's going to happen, and you know, then the ref makes a call. If I walk by a field, if I stop and talk to somebody, somebody's going to say, "Did you see that call?" And then, I think, I saw it. That's a terrible call, and I think, that was a terrible call. Well, aren't you going to do something? And I think, well, what the hell am I going to do? Like he made a bad call, you know. So I don't like watching games. I don't, if I watch a game that happens to have my friend playing on it, or you know, for God's sake, one of Rob Stodinger's teams in it, who was my roommate and business partner, and refs do something, people think I'm manipulating. I really stay away from it. But aside from that, I just simply don't have time.
Early on in the interview, we had touched a little bit on when you had said everyone was getting excited when it was starting to grow, and where you would hope that it would make it on, paintball would make it onto ESPN. But where are your thoughts on where paintball should be sitting in the world of televised sports now?
Aside from TV, I think paintball is sitting exactly where paintball should be sitting. I don't have the dreams of grandeur that we're one day going to be in the Olympics, for God's sake. I don't, we're not going to be Monday Night Football. I think we've wasted a lot of money and a lot of time and a lot of effort trying to do some things that I just do not think we're ever going to do. I don't ride a motorcycle. I don't snowboard. I don't care anything about snowboard or ride a motorcycle. But if I'm flipping through channels and some dude jumps out of a stadium turning backflips and lands in the parking lot, I stop and watch, and I think, holy shit, the guy jumped out of the stadium, like that's something you want to see a guy do. If you're watching paintball, I could, Opie could, you probably could, stand in the field and watch Alex Frazier or watch J-Rab, and you see the little things they do, and you realize, my God, they're good. They just see things, they feel things, little subtle moves that they do. I understand it. I see it. I have a world of respect for how good they are at this game. But if my mom watched the D4 Bullet Boys and the Russians play, she would have absolutely no idea which one was better. There just is nothing that we do that makes the average Joe walking down the street stop and look at the TV and think, oh, wow, look what these guys can do. I don't know. And people get mad at me. That's just my opinion.
A big press release that shocked the communities online with big changes to the format was revealed. How's the reaction been like, and what was the reason behind these changes?
At some point, I had to look in the mirror and realize that what I was doing wasn't working. We are dangerously close to getting to a position to where it just simply does not mathematically work anymore. And essentially, I just have to realize the fact. I've created a format that we are pushing at 16 to 21-year-old broke, jobless boys, and I love watching them play, but they can't pay the bills. We are this year going to be at about 18% of the sponsorship that we had 5 years ago. Literally, it's we're going from 1.6 million, I think, at the highest. To this year, I won't have $200,000 worth of sponsorship. Teams have always thought they paid for everything. The teams have never even almost paid for these tournaments to happen. They don't pay for half. But that's changing. Now the teams have to pay for it. They have to. There is no industry to pay for it. The teams are going to have to pay for it. We pushed this sport exactly where it was last year. We did it. I did it. I made the decisions to push it exactly to where 16 to 21-year-old athletes were the people playing my game. I thought that's the way it should be. I wanted it to be that way. I wanted it to be a sport. And we got it. And then you realize the people that will play that sport and can compete in that sport, they don't have any money. That's not a great demographic to try to run $400,000 paintball tournaments around. So what do? We change some things. Let's try to open the doors up to some other people, some older guys, and a guy that cannot practice 9 times between one of the tournaments. He wants to play, likes to play. He has the money to play. He has the money to play because he works all the time. He doesn't have time to go play every weekend. He goes and makes money. And so we started trying to implement, sit down and think of some things we could do. Different reasons for some of the changes, but in the end, the idea of why we made the changes because we were going to go broke. That's the fact. We could not stay in business doing what we were doing. I've made changes out here. We've cut staff down. We've cut fencing down. We've cut everything down. And I sit every single day of my life and I look at the books of what comes in and what it costs to run this company, and nobody on any internet forum or on any webcast or on anything anywhere else on this earth knows what it takes to run this business more than I do. And I'm going to do whatever it takes for me to stay in business as long as I possibly can. And I think doing anything other than that would be bad to players. If they like what we're doing, the number one thing that I have to do is stay in business so we can keep playing tournaments. And whatever changes have to be made to stay in business, that's what I'm going to do. If they get pissed off, they get pissed off. I hope they don't. I hope they can understand that. But
there's been, I guess, rumors about this flying around every now and then. You keep seeing it brought up, but people are wondering sometimes, is there a possibility of a merger between the two big leagues, PSP and PPL? What's your opinion on that?
My personal opinion is I don't think having 2 leagues is good, especially not today. The industry can't afford it. We're dividing a pie that may not be big enough to allow one league to do all that it could do, but dividing the thing in 2 is not smart. This is not the boys' club. This is not us gathering up in the backyard playing football or hockey or whatever you Canadians do.
Hockey.
This this is a business, you know, and I've got time and effort, and we've got money invested, and there's a lot going on. We've got all the things that the business has going on. We've got employees, we've got payroll, we've got people who feed their children by this business that we run. We're not just going to magically make the two come together because it would make everybody smile. But if everybody thinks we're just going to be nice and shake hands because that's what feels good and sounds good, we can't do that. No more than any other business in the world would be expected to do that. We're no different. So, can it happen? Sure. Is it a possibility? Absolutely. Anything is. Do I sit around and think about it? Absolutely not. It's I'm going to go run my business the best I can.
I'm going to shoot you a few quick questions that were user-submitted questions. The first one comes from thisispaintball.ca. And it is, who runs your Great PSP Facebook fan page?
Camille and Adam McIsaac. I think Camille administrates it all now. But a Canadian guy, Adam McIsaac, who I don't know that I've ever met. He created it, and I think it ran for a year and a half. And one day on Facebook, I saw the PSP Facebook page and went and looked at it. I have no idea what the hell this is. It's got people in it, and it's active and going, and so I found a way to get in touch with the guy, and he said, I was just trying to do something good, and so a guy that had nothing to do with us whatsoever created it and ran it for a year or so, but now Camille does it. Camille, and I think Adam puts stuff up from time to time. And
well, thanks very much, Lane. We're coming to a close. Last thing, as I'd like, if you would be able to say anything to your fans and your supporters of the PSP.
Thanks to the people that come, to the people that play, the people that support it, obviously. If there was one thing that I wish I could change magically, it would be people need to stop hating the hateful, derogatory, animosity-filled crap that goes on the internet, here at the events or whatnot, and we're all in it together. Nobody's trying to get over on anybody else. People need to be more supportive. If they love the game, if they want the game to grow, the right way to do it is not constantly talk about negative stuff. People need to support paintball and any kind of paintball. Whoever's doing paintball, support it and be positive.
Thanks for watching BuyPBL's Gab-Fest. For more information on upcoming programs, visit gab-fest.com. While you're there, join the discussions.